Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Lamatech here, and we're in Overwatch, and I'm gonna be kind of explaining. Okay, let me start by saying a lot of people have told me I have decent aim, so I kind of wanted to show people what I do to practice that. And just kind of go through what you guys should do if you wanna work on your aim in Overwatch. So the first thing I would do is go into the practice range every day with someone who you plan on using. This person should vary depending on who you plan on playing. I think the three best options to go with are, so if you plan on playing hit scan people, Widowmaker or McCree, they're interchangeable. As far as projectile is concerned, I would go with either Hanzo or Genji, as they require accuracy and are still effective with it. So, I play a mix of hit scan and projectile, mainly hit scan. However, I play a lot of Tracer, Soldier, Widow, and McCree. Now, it should be worth mentioning, you can practice your aim with someone like Soldier or Tracer, but in my opinion, it's not as effective, because people who are more pinpoint reliant, they need to get necessary shots, are going to help you a lot more versus someone who you can just kind of spray in the general area with, and still manage to get a kill. So if you really want to improve, I suggest playing with pinpoint people in the practice range. The practice range is a really good place to do this, especially in this area, as sometimes the bots like that one move in unpredictable patterns. And so what a lot of people do, they'll go and do a AI game where Ana's headshot only, practice that way. I don't find that to be that effective compared to this, because in here, this whole area is your open playground. And so what I like to do, okay, I'll wait for the bots to respawn in the meantime by going over here, practicing on those guys. Okay, so I have to start here, shoot that one, shoot, and you get one shot per bot. So there are 4 bots in there, you get 4 bots, or 4 shots, and then 1 shot for that one and 1 shot for this one. So in total, it's like a little game. So you get a total of 6 shots, and you have to hit as many as you can with 6 shots. So there it's a 4 out of 6. So yeah, you just kind of work on that. You don't want to necessarily go into a pattern, because then you'll start remembering where the bots come from, and you don't want to do that, because then you're not working on your aim, you're just firing where prediction is best. So that's how I practice every day. However, I don't really practice with Hanzo, I practice more so with McCree and Widowmaker. So if we come over here, McCree, McCree is different. Snipers is where I play the game with, but McCree, because he can't one-tap people, you get 2 shots per person, because you can 2-shot headshot. But I don't really play the game with McCree, I just kind of walk around and try to shoot stuff. So also you want to know what kind of aiming style you're going to have. I mentioned earlier people who track, such as Tracer and Soldier. These people, well, obviously they use track aim. Snipers snipers and any pinpoint person, you want to be good with flick shots like I'm doing right now, just practicing constant flicks. However, you can still track with these people, but flicking will save you in a lot of situations where tracking won't be able to do that. So tracking is just following these bots with your crosshair, knowing where they're going, just making sure you're not gonna miss. However, if someone snuck up to the side of me and I had never practiced flick shotting, I wouldn't really know how to go about that, because you then have to, get your crosshair on them, and it's a struggle, which I just showed you. However, if you practice flick shots every day, of course now I'm not doing too great, you're going to get better at that, and you're going to know how to counter people who flank you. That's really all you want to be working on for these kind of DPS. Sorry. Who else can I show? Widowmaker. Widow's a good one too, because her zoom sensitivity makes a little bit of a different experience when sniping, depending on what you have yours set to. Speaking of which, when you're practicing your aim, you really need to know what sensitivity is best for you. I always experiment with this, even to this day. I mess around with my sensitivity. That's not the best thing you want to do. You want to get a constant sensitivity. However, if you want to work on your aim, okay, so what I like to do, let me take a step back, go to the menus and kind of show you this. First off, you have to know what your DPI is. That is something that usually comes on your mouse software. And a lot of newer gaming mice have these, even some of the older ones. This is the Logitech G Pro mouse. Came out pretty recently, and it's one of the best FPS mice on the market, but that's not really what matters about your mouse. What matters is you have to know what DPI you're running. I am running 400 DPI. Now, you also want to take this here, your sensitivity number. By the way, before that, relative sensitivity, I have 38. That's pretty close to like a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning just disabling this overall, because I'm not sure the exact science behind it, but if I move my mouse in game when I'm not zoomed in, I want that to be the same as when I am, and this is the closest number. Could always disable it with 0, but I don't know, I just kind of stick with this. So yeah, that's that. Also for McCree, you want to have this recoil, recovery, aim compensation turned off. Now what this does is if I turn it on, I'll get back to what I was about to say in a little bit. Okay, McCree. So what this does is if I fire and slowly move my mouse downwards, so like I'm slowly moving my mouse down here, the crosshair doesn't actually move down. It stays in one spot, and I realize it doesn't look like I'm moving my crosshair or my mouse down right now because it's shooting in the same spot, but I am. And that creates for inaccuracy and makes you too reliable on things that are other than your aim, and you don't want that. So for that reason, I stick with this, because now I can fire wherever I want to, not where the system thinks I mean to. And that's nice to have. Going back, so knowing my DPI is 400, knowing my sensitivity is 8, you always want to multiply these numbers, or that's what I do. So 400 times 8 is 3200. I feel, so when you multiply, if your number is higher than 5000 max, then your sensitivity is a bit high, and I would suggest lowering that. You don't have to go 3200. Like for instance, I used to run 800 DPI and 2.75 sensitivity. Yeah, that was around the I think the 2000s area when you multiply that together. It's crazy. Like, so I decided to up it to this, and I feel that this is nice. By the way, if you think this is real low and are wondering why anyone would put it so low, the reason for a low sensitivity is because while a high sensitivity makes you able to move around much easier. You're going to be far less inaccurate. And muscle memory is a big important thing with your sensitivity, as eventually after playing people like this for so long, you just kind of know how to kill things. And yeah, so to develop good muscle memory, so there are two types of like aiming besides tracking and flicking, and that is wrist aiming and arm aiming. Now with lower sensitivities, it's going to be more arm aiming, and that's nice because you're using more muscles than you would in your wrist to get that muscle memory, and that's what's going to make you a much more consistent, reliable aimer. And yeah, once you get used to the sensitivity you're running, you're not going to miss many shots. Obviously, it's not an overnight thing. Practice does come. Like, you will have to practice with this. Now, by practice, I mean you have to be committed. If you want to be good at anything, you have to be committed. And that doesn't mean only playing when your friends are available. You have to stick to the game. Even when you're having a rough time, you have to just, if you need to take a little bit of a break, go ahead. But that doesn't mean just stop playing for the day. Now you'll see here I have 44 hours on Widowmaker, 21 on McCree, 21 on Tracer, 19 on Hanzo, 22 on Genji, all people who require aim. Current comp season, top 3. Obviously this season started very recently, so this isn't as accurate, but last season you'll see these are my tops. Devo is my top in 3, and 2 and 1 I didn't play much, but my point is, you're gonna have to be committed if you want to get good at Overwatch. And I've heard, a few of my friends, they say, well, I don't necessarily need to get better, I just want to have fun with the game. I can guarantee you that you are going to have more fun with the game if you're better at the game. And that does require commitment, but everyone has enough time to play for at least an hour a day. I mean, I'm not saying every single day you have to, but that would be how you're gonna get consistent. I feel everyone has the ability to play an hour a day. If you say you don't, then you're lying to yourself, because there's time where you can do that, whether it's getting up earlier in the morning, just kind of making sure you're a better player, whenever really, like if you have any free time, you can just go into practice range, even if you can't play a game, and over time you'll just get better and better and better aim. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would suggest for anyone who's looking to get good at aim. And once you get those tactics down, you want to start moving while you aim, like 80-80 spam. Sorry if you hear my keyboard, it's mechanical, so it's pretty loud. Jump shots, you want to take your movement to the next level, because standing still, you're going to be the easiest person to hit in the whole battlefield, I can guarantee you that. Even if you're like, well, I'm only going to stand still for a second, that's plenty of time for a Widowmaker to zoom in and shoot you. Trust me, I've done it to many people, and I've had it done to me when I first started playing Widow. So, as you do this over and over for an hour a day, I'm not saying go in the practice range for an hour a day, but I would say practice range you want to spend about 10 minutes in every day, and then you can just play like quick play, comp. I don't really recommend arcade as a way of practicing. Even the Widowmaker headset only custom games, because that's not the real game. Like, if you want to get better, learn to play against the tactics of an entire 6-man team, not a 3 or a 1-man. then you need to practice in quick player competitive. The Widowmaker headshot only thing that isn't great because while it can work on your headshot accuracy, you're not learning to shoot other targets, such as a flying Winston coming at you, or a jumping Genji, a moving Tracer. These are the things that are going to be the hardest for you to hit as someone who requires pinpoint accuracy, unless you're like McCree, you get a flashbang off, it's really easy to just headshot someone. But you do need to play in quick player custom game, or competitive if you really are looking to get better aim. And for those reasons, I feel that I have gotten better at aim, and now it's more of a trying to get better at my game sense type of thing. And as that happens, I feel I will go up in the ranks. And yeah. Anything else? Yes, there was one more thing. If you plan on playing any Genji, you do need to know that the combo. So, what a lot of people do, I've read, some people left click beforehand, they swift strike in, right click. However, what I like to do a lot of the time, you always want to right click and then swift strike, as you get that shuriken damage into the head, and then turn around 180 degrees, and right click again, and followed by a melee if needed, like that. And then your swift strike resets, you can do it all over again. Wasn't close enough for a melee that time, but you get the gist of it. You always want to try to land a right click in the head too, as it's more burst damage. So yeah, that is my guide for aim, and thank you for watching.